So welcome to this episode of the Rumble. And today I have a guest who's, of course, a solid Chennai man, been here a large part of his life and done such a lot of good stuff too. So Samuel Eddy is his name, and we'll just find out what is it that he's doing which rivals something that's happening from some other part of company, which is a part of the world which you all know about, which is the TEDx. Now he does something similar to it. So tell us, how did you get into that, Eddy? How did you think of the idea of running what you are doing, which is again...
Yeah, I was one of the guys involved in bringing TED into India in 2009. And so I evangelized
What does TED stand for?
Technology, Entertainment, Design.
Oh, right.
And it started 30 years ago. And for the first 25 years, it was almost like a cult organization.
Yes.
They met once a year.
Yes.
People from only these three fields. Nobody knew what was happening inside.
And they met in certain exotic locations?
Yeah, Monterey Bay
in
California.
All right.
Okay, and nobody knew what was happening inside. It was almost like a cult organization.
Okay.
Secretive to a certain extent. So Chris Anderson, the present owner, bought this out in 2002.
Okay.
It was started by a guy called Richard Verman. And Richard Verman sold it to Chris Anderson, who was a publisher.
Okay.
He was in the media business.
So it's like a big event which he just sold it lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah, sold it off.
Okay.
And Chris was losing money because, since we were all going digital and this thing, the magazines that he had over 2,000 magazines, I believe,
so
and he was losing money. So he bought this TED. And then he sees these amazing talks. And so he puts it on YouTube. It goes viral.
Yes.
Then he says, let me outsource the conference itself.
Okay.
So that's how the TEDx was born. X standing for an independently organized TED event.
All right.
So 2009.
So the Indian one is a TEDx.
Anywhere across the
It's
world,
all
other
X.
than the original TED,
They're all TEDx.
are all TEDx. So they license it out.
Okay.
So today it happens in 7,000 cities across the world, the TEDx.
Wow, that's a lot of content being generated.
Yes. So you'll find that there are amazing talks from, may not be extraordinary people, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And they are able to identify those guys, basically ideas.
Yeah.
And their tagline is ideas worth spreading. So that is the tagline.
And is it just something that they born into it, or are they being coached? They're also extremely articulate.
There is a professional company that coaches them.
No
and
wonder.
they go through a 7-step process before they can get onto the TED
Because
stage.
half the professors I talk to out here are almost tongue-tied.
Yes.
They're shy, they don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
And here these guys come out like orators.
Yeah. So, 2009 we introduced TEDx into India. Ever since, for the next 5 years, that is till 2012, I was evangelizing TED, I was mentoring TED across India, I was speaking at TEDx's across India, and also helped organize TEDx in India.
Okay.
Then
Where do you
I
find
said-
the most success? South India, North India, East India?
South India, of course.
Oh, I see.
Definitely
Just
South
because
India.
we have the 4 major cities here? Is that the reason why?
I think also the interest levels are far more
Higher.
in the thing, but again, it's also spreading in the north, Bombay, Delhi, all over the place. Most universities are interested to have
they
it.
would be the ones.
Because because the brand image is so good, you're able to attract very good speakers. But they had certain rules which I thought was an irritant. For example, you can only have 100 people in the audience.
In India, we have
Now,
billion
in the
people,
US,
100 people.
in the US, 100 people is big.
Okay.
Because even in a wedding, if you have 50 people, they'll say it's a big wedding.
Yeah. Well attended.
Yes. So I said it doesn't work in India, where we have 1.2 billion people.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't listen. And I said, see, you have to change your rules according to the culture of the various countries. Like, you see, if McDonald's had just stuck to their US menu, they wouldn't have sold.
They would have been gone.
They would have gone. But somehow they were not
Makalu
really
and
relative.
stuff.
So I said, okay, let me take all the good things from TED, introduce some of my own, leave out the irritants, and start something. So TED was technology, entertainment, design, but today encompasses almost any subject.
Yes, yes.
So I said SAM, science, art, management, which
Oh,
means
that
any topic under the sun will fall under
That's
these
true,
three categories.
that's true.
That it's also my name was just a sheer coincidence.
No, that's a good coincidence. But tell me, these kind of organizations work on passion, on connections, or do you need money also?
See, we need money, but then we are able to get sponsors who are willing to sponsor in kind. Difficult to get cash sponsors.
Okay.
Because they don't have an idea of how we are going to utilize that cash. So when I
Yeah,
go to
that's true.
somebody and say, give me the venue,
Yeah.
they very
They were
gladly
glad to
give me
give
the
you the value. Okay.
give me the food. They're willing to give me that. Okay, you have
Give me
cameras.
an airline ticket or something like
Airline
that.
tickets. I've got airlines giving me tickets. They are helping me fly down my speakers.
Okay.
So we're able to
So
cover
they
the
see
cost.
value in all those areas.
Yes. They see value also. Otherwise, they will not.
Exactly, they see value.
Because the kind of people that we are bringing in will definitely add value. Like we are planning to bring people like Richard Branson in. Okay, so he comes here.
He'll come with his own airline probably.
He'll fly down on his own jet.
Yes.
But then, if let's say an Emirates has their logo behind him,
Yeah.
it
that's
makes
right.
a lot of sense.
That's right,
So
yeah.
that's how.
So the other parts of the expense chain, how do you get all those things?
See,
sorted
we are a
out?
non-
Where there is
we are a
actual cash
non-profit.
outflow involved.
We are a non-profit.
Yeah.
So we try to cover the cost of the event with sponsors in
Okay.
kind.
Yeah.
The ticket sales, we don't call it ticket sales, we call them donor passes because we are a non-profit. And when you're collecting money like that, you need to have a credible project. And I think we have a fantastic project. We're calling it the Samarium.
Okay.
And somebody's actually given us 10 acres of land on the OMR for this project. And I'm planning this based on Noah's Ark.
Okay.
So the building dimensions will be like Noah's Ark, 450 feet long.
So many qubits in this
Yes,
qubits
yeah.
and those qubits.
Things like that. Then I said, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I will take good ideas because our tagline is where ideas meet. So we're looking for ideas all over the world and taking those ideas, tweaking it to our condition and introducing it. So one of the things I've taken is called the Soul Kitchen, which was started by John Bon Jovi, the pop singer in New Jersey. A Soul Kitchen is like any regular restaurant, but doesn't have a price list. People come, eat, and pay whatever they can.
Folks, you think it'll work in India? Have a soul kitchen? People will probably say, the food is awful, so here's my 10 bits. No, but it won't happen that way. When you come back, you'll find out this Samarium is an awesome idea. 10 acres of land, somebody donates, and they're going to just start something. So let's see what that is all about. So we were talking about the Samarium. I thought it was Sumerium. There's nothing to do with Sumeria. It's and it has nothing to do with your name, actually. It's just coincidence.
Yeah. Yes, just
Okay,
coincidence.
so what is Samarium?
Samarium, if you see the dictionary meaning of Samarium, it's actually a rare earth, which
Okay.
is a catalyst for many metals. So I looked at this name and I said, this place that I'm building will be a catalyst for hope.
Okay.
Because today, the biggest industry in the world is the hope industry. So
Okay.
all your religion and all that is part
Yeah,
of
all
the hope
catering
industry.
to that.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So I said I will take ideas from across the world. I will not reinvent the wheel and introduce it into the Samarium. We have 6 areas of focus.
Okay.
One is youth, women empowerment, senior citizens, animal welfare, rural development and environment.
Oh, that covers most
Almost
of it.
everything,
Yeah, everything
okay?
is there.
And age groups also, like it covers all the age groups.
Yeah, yeah.
So so I looked at this idea of John Bon Jovi. He started something called the Soul Kitchen in New Jersey.
Okay.
The Soul Kitchen is like a regular restaurant. People come and eat. There's no price list. They pay what they can. People who can afford it pay.
Is there a menu or
There is a menu.
or they give them what
There
they,
is a menu.
oh,
There's no price list.
Okay.
So after eating, people put the money in a cover and leave it there and go.
So it's
They
a-
also pay for people who can't afford it.
Okay.
People who can't afford it go and do community service, earn a certificate. They can exchange that certificate for
And cash it for food at the Soul
yes,
Kitchen.
yes. They can also volunteer to work there. It's totally voluntary. The chef is voluntary, the servers there are voluntary, the waitresses are voluntary, everybody is
And
voluntary.
it was introduced and it took off well.
It took off very well.
Would something like that work well in India? I just want to ask you a question like this because we hardly ever see any of these kind of innovations.
Exactly.
Working.
So the general, when I talk about this, the general, reaction is, will people pay?
Ah, okay.
I'm saying we'll assume that people are good.
Yeah.
We will not.
Let's
assume-
start from there.
Let's start from there. I mean, we're always saying that it won't happen.
Yeah.
Now, this is another difference I see between Chennai, especially, and America. In America, when I go and come up with an idea, they'll say, "Hey, fantastic idea! Give it a shot."
Yeah.
That's the reaction I get, especially in California.
Correct.
Chennai, hey, don't waste your time here. Not worth it.
Yeah. The beggars won't support you.
So negative. I find people predominantly negative here. I find them very.
Why do you
positive.
think that is so?
I don't know
Because we
whether
need to
it's-
attack that part of it also.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's the culture or people's experiences of dealing with people here. I don't know really.
Or is it
But
gel
I
level?
find people in the US pretty positive, and maybe that's the reason why all good ideas are coming out of there. Imagine somebody like Elon Musk, who's come up
Yes.
with the ideas of
Space.
connecting the SpaceX is
Yeah,
the company
and
that he has.
intercity.
I mean, imagine
high speed.
somebody proposing something like that here. They'll think he's a madman.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
he's got enough supporters. Or you take our own guy, Sridhar, K.R. Sridhar, who's come up with this thing called the Bloom Box.
Okay.
It's a small box, the size of your computer,
Okay.
which can produce electricity to power your house.
Wow.
Today, almost all the top companies, Microsoft, Google, Yahoo, all supported that. And today, they are running offices. 50% of the power comes from boxes, silent boxes.
So how does it generate power?
He has used, he's got a plate which is made out of beach sand.
Okay.
And he's made something. And then
And
he
we've got
adds-
lots of that in this
We have
country.
lots of that.
Yeah.
And this guy is from NIT Trichy.
Okay.
Now, if he had continued in NIT Trichy or in India, he would have never made it.
That's true.
Because he wouldn't have
Yeah,
had
the
supporters.
environment isn't
So
suitable.
somebody funded him. It was only an idea. Somebody funded him and waited for 9 years for it to happen.
Okay.
I don't think we people have that patience
That's
to
true.
put in money and wait for 9 years for it to happen. But it's happened. It's revolutionizing the way power is produced.
It actually produces power or other stores and
No, it produces power. So you have 50% of Google today running on Bloom boxes.
I
And
see.
this is right next door. So there's no distribution costs.
And it's a Tirunelveli boy.
It's a boy from,
Wow.
In fact, when I was in the US, I worked for a person who's the second largest talent acquisition platform in the US, a company called TechFetch.
Okay.
The owner of that was from Tirunelveli.
Really?
So he was wanting to start something in Tirunelveli which will produce 10,000 jobs.
Okay.
And we called it the Telecom Valley.
Okay.
The idea was to bring 30 high-tech industries, each producing 300 to 350 jobs. So you'll have 10,000 jobs.
Yeah.
So because of that project, I went around networking with people from Tirunelveli who made it big in the US. So I met the CEO of Groupon.
Oh,
He's from Tirunelveli.
I see.
A lot of guys. I met some top professors in the Berkeley University. Berkeley University is foremost in non-conventional sources of
Yes.
energy. Some of the top professors there are from Tirunelveli.
Wow.
So we networked with all these people and said, let's do something back for our place of birth.
Also, all of these people are involved in your
Telecom
project?
Valley, yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And Sam too?
No, not Sam.
Sam
But Sam, again, I have a lot of my friends in the US who are my Sam ambassadors.
Okay.
They help me, promote Sam. They're identifying people doing different things. And
So is the objective of Sam also to bring in some good things to Chennai city, or
yes, of
you're
course.
talking India
my
generally?
focus predominantly is Chennai.
Okay.
So at least the first year, I will do all my conferences and the festivals that I'm planning.
And what
in
about
Chennai.
experiments that are to be done? I mean, if you're actually going to implement something, implement it right here to see whether the ideas will work or not work.
See, most people tell me, don't do it in Chennai.
Oh,
Do
that's
it in
so
Bombay, do it
okay.
in Delhi, do it in Goa, Bangalore.
Okay.
Don't do it in Chennai because Chennai is conservative, very unpredictable.
It's too hot.
Too hot and all this
Yeah,
kind. I said no.
And they don't serve beer everywhere. That's a big
Exactly.
reason. I know.
Yeah, but that can change. It's not a problem.
Well, I hope the administration is listening to this. You bring beer in on reasonable safeguards. It might do things for us.
Yeah, so there are a lot of detractors, there are a lot of naysayers. But
Sure.
then, I've also been called an outlier. An outlier is a guy who does things that people say can't be done.
All right.
And I will give it my best shot.
Yeah,
It works, doesn't work.
So
what?
these conferences and seminars that you hold, is it a paid for thing? People pay money and come
Yes,
there?
they pay.
And how do you let people know that such a thing is on?
Social media, then we have the local ticketing partners. Event Genie is our local ticketing partner.
So they go around
Yes.
informing people that
Yes,
such an event
yes,
is on.
yes.
So is there already a group which knows all about it, and so they automatically log on to see what you're doing?
We have a core team consisting of 12 people.
Okay.
And so they are all very prominent people, many of whom have been on this program.
Okay.
Sadhana Srinivasan,
All right.
Dr. Mini
Okay.
Rao.
So they all support us.
They all support us, yes.
Okay. So this venture, does it look for constantly increasing its numbers? There are some, which can't survive unless it keeps on increasing in reach.
Not really.
But are you okay with the number of
Not
people
really.
that you've already pulled in?
I really wanted that it'll spread. Like you have an option called Sam Salon, which could be just 30 people. There'll be one speaker who will come and speak on any subject. Then there's a lively discussion on that idea or subject.
So you can take it, you can scale it up or down depending on it. So we'll just find out.
I have been very successful in getting people together. That's been one of my strengths.
Okay.
So I started in 2010 something called F4, face-to-face Facebook friends.
Wow, that's a new one. We heard F4 racing around, blowing up gas, but here's something that's a different type of F4. We'll talk about it when we come back. No, I mean, that's F1. This is F4, 4 times bigger. So I think we were going at the speed of knots. We were going at 4 times the speed of F1. We went to F4 suddenly. Let's get back to Samarium. That's an intriguing idea.
So I told you about one concept where we will have this restaurant.
Yeah.
Now in New Jersey, they have an organic farm which produces most of the vegetables, food for this.
Yes.
So here I'm coming up with a concept, I met a company in Holland called Plant Lab.
Okay.
Plant Lab has broken 9 myths of agriculture.
All right.
For example, we've always been told that plants require sunlight.
Yes.
They say, no, it doesn't require sunlight.
Oh.
It only requires...
Does it require neon? It'll grow in a bar?
No, it just requires the blue and red spectrum of light.
Okay.
So Philips has designed a lighting system.
Oh yes, I read about that. Yeah, they only light them up with those two.
Yes, and it's a kind of a violet light. You have to see it to believe it. Amazingly healthy plants. And it can be grown right next door. Like a restaurant can grow their food right next door.
Okay.
And they're also saying that food travels on an average 800 kilometers before it comes onto your plate.
Yeah.
Now here you imagine the saving that you will have on transportation costs, which means what will be your price? Very cheap.
That's true.
So the managing director of Plant Lab is one of my speakers. So they will come and help set up that.
Yeah, we need to see these things. People don't believe all this when they say you can make it.
So that is why I'm going to make the Samarium self-sustaining. See, today a lot of NGOs fail because they're constantly looking for support.
Funding.
I'm saying no, this will become self-sustaining.
Correct.
Because we'll even charge people who want to come and see these things.
Yes.
And the restaurant will pay for itself.
You can sell them a little package and go use it at home. So that's what you need.
So the third project I have in the Samarium is for pets. I told you that we are also into animal welfare. So we're going to have an animal shelter.
Okay.
But it's not going to be an animal shelter like the Blue Cross or whatever it is.
Okay.
These animals will be trained as service animals and used for animal-aided therapy. We will attach them to hospitals, to schools, so that these animals will be used. So there is a...
you can frighten little children to take their tablets.
No, the dogs are trained to be very docile.
Okay.
And it's just not dogs. It's cats, rabbits, animals, basically, pet animals. And there is an organization...
For comfort between human and animal.
It's very therapeutic.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to give out a lot of positive energy. So there is an organization called Pet Partners in the US. We are tying up with them. They've been around for 35 years. And if you see some of their videos on YouTube, you'll find amazing work. Dyslexic children getting,
animals
better.
Interact with.
People are able to forget the pain that 1 hour. So it's not only that we will have the shelter and train those animals. Anybody who has a pet can volunteer.
Okay. Do you guys need money or not?
We definitely need money. In fact, I'm raising $100,000 through Indiegogo.
All right. So one of the things that people can do if they can't actually participate in these things is to send some money.
Yes, they can donate.
And so people find it impossible to donate in this country because either the transaction fee has to be so, the amount involved is so large so that the banks can take care of its charges and all that. So nobody is able to pay 50 rupees, 10 rupees, but 10 rupees eventually end up becoming crores. So why don't you just think of a way in Samarium to collect 10 rupee notes?
That's exactly what Kickstarter and Indiegogo have done. You can contribute $1.
How?
You can contribute $5.
How?
Either by credit card or you can...
There you go. To be a credit card owner, you have to be something, salary, this, that.
Imagine today, if every Indian gave 1 rupee, you'll have 1.2 billion rupees.
Daily. You can give 1 rupee daily.
Yes. So I just imagine the potential. Only thing is you have to come up with an idea or a system to collect this money.
I had once suggested that we route it through the phones, because the phone company is either holding your money, if it's a prepaid card, or they're collecting you from after that. And for them to know your credit status is okay.
No,
they could collect 1 rupee and pass it on.
Technology is available. In fact, when the government wanted to go for inclusive banking, they wanted to use the mobile phone, and it is possible today.
But I think the fear is all these jihadi groups misusing these
No,
things
but
to
that is,
transfer
see,
money.
even the internet today, you can use it for good, you can use it for bad.
Correct.
And a lot of...
But the banking system, they're a little scared to let that open
Yes.
into...
So even for payment options today, people are finding it extremely to get online payment options,
Yes.
because the Reserve Bank thinks that it can be misused.
Absolutely. I haven't been able to contribute. My only way of contribution, if possible, is see somebody on the road who looks like he needs money. I give him 10 rupees, 20 rupees, whatever. So other than that personal way of giving money, I don't find any way a person can give money in this country. Maybe that should be your project number one. Just let people know.
We will probably crowdsource. Like what we are also doing is, we are putting up problems on our site and inviting answers
Solutions.
like Quora. We want, in fact, we are even seeing whether we can tie up with Quora, which will be the back end.
Okay.
Ours will be the front end. People can ask questions like they do in Quora and get answers. So these are the things. For example, I get very irritated when I see these people putting posters on this metro rail project pillars. You see, they've made so shabby with all these posters.
Yes.
How do we stop that? Or you have these beautiful medians with the plants in the center of the road.
Immediately defaced.
But not a single spot without, this pan parak spit or whatever, the tobacco, this thing.
That requires another Samarium to open up.
Yes. And this is not the guy on the street who's spitting there.
I don't know.
It's guys going on cars. I have seen, guys roll down their windows and...
Oh yeah, they either open the door and let fly on the road, or they do sideways.
Exactly.
That's
so how do we stop all these things?
So your interaction so far in Chennai, has it made you hopeful, or you think there's a long fight up
It
ahead?
is a long fight. It is a long fight.
And you think you will win and
Of
bring
course.
over people to your side?
Of course, I think you have to persevere. We are garnering support.
Maybe you need to merchandise. People would love to have
Yes,
things,
we are merchandising. In fact, we have something called a Sam Mall on our site. And we are tying up with another organization in the US called Mela.com.
Oh, that's the US side.
Yes. They'll be the back end.
All right.
Ours will be the front end. But then they have the options where each...
No, maybe you could sell these little pins that you wear in your
pins,
jackets,
then,
ties.
T-shirts, things like that.
Yeah.
Merchandise, you see, that's another thing in the US.
It's huge.
Ferrari makes more money on their merchandise rather than on the racing.
Yeah.
So merchandise is definitely on Sam Mall. Plus, our speakers are authors. Some of our performers are, good musicians. So we want to use Sam Mall to sell
Generate money,
music,
T-shirts,
to also sell the books. So we're tying up with Westland publishers to sell those books on our site. So we're looking at various funding options for the Samarium. Samarium probably is worth, the project will be about 100 crores.
Wow. So thanks, Samuel, for coming
Thank you.
over. I really
Pleasure.
say I am as much enthused as I hope all these guys out there will be enthused here and try and contact you. You're on the web.
Yes, we're on the web. It's www.samglobal.org.
All right. There you go. So we'll do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.